हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
चंद्र प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दीपिका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हलिन माता जी हरे कृष्णा। दंडवत प्रणाम। अमोल प्रभु हरे कृष्णा। दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
तुषार प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा। यतिन प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
किया अब आपको
Okay, we'll begin now. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Okay. Once again the translation. The holy place of Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathurapuri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? So we had some discussion about this. There is Devi Dham, there is Mahesh Dham, Vaikuntha Dham or Hari Dham, and then there is Golaka Vrindavan Dham. Above Devi Dham, where we are staying, is Devi Dham. Durga Devi is the in charge of material world. Above Devi Dham is the Mahesh Dham, which is at the transition between the material and spiritual world, is the Mahesh Dham or the abode of Lord Shiva. Above Mahesh Dham is Hari Dham or the abode of Lord Vishnu or Vaikuntha Dham, and above Hari Dham is Mathura Dham. And we saw that there is in between, there is above Vaikuntha there is Ayodhya, above Ayodhya there is Dwarka, above Dwarka there is Mathura, and then we come here. Above Mathura there is Vrindavan Dham, because Krishna performed his various loving pastimes with his devotees. And above Vrindavan Dham is Govardhan. We discuss how Govardhan, we know Krishna lifted, and Govardhan is also non-different from Krishna because it emanated from the heart of Krishna. And Krishna performed various pastimes on Govardhan. Every day Krishna would go to Govardhan and he would go up with the cows and cowherd boys, and they would perform various pastimes. On the foothill of Govardhan, basically he's a mountain. Srimati Radharani describes Antayam Adir Haridasa Varya. She describes to the Gopi friends that among all the servants of Lord Krishna, the the servant who is actually supremely pleased Shri Krishna is Govardhan. Govardhan serves the cows. It is said that any cow who once eat the grass grown on Govardhan never becomes sick. Govardhan serves Vrindavan Vasis, the Gopas. Govardhan gives all the fruits and vegetables. Govardhan has many caves where Krishna can perform pastimes. Waterfalls that creates a very nice breeze, flowers. So Govardhan serves all the Vrajvasis in many different ways. So he is described as best among all the residents of Vrindavan, Govardhan. And above Govardhan, on the foothill of Govardhan, there are many lakes, small lakes. And one of the lake is called Radha Kund. And it is described that even higher than living in Govardhan is living on the bank of Radha Kund. Because Radha Kund is described as, you take Srimati Radharani, she is love personified, and you melt her. Her love, you melt it, that becomes the water of Radha Kund. So the water of Radha Kund is the liquefied form of the love of Srimati Radharani. And Lord Krishna Srimati Radharani performs various pastimes on the bank of Radha Kund. So above Govardhan is the Radha Kund. And here Srila Rupa Goswami described in this verse, where is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund? Okay, so we discuss the first. Okay, let's see. I'll start from here. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends. And there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha, engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radha Kund at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. Advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radhakund because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani, Rati Vilas. During this pastime of manifestation of Radhakund, Lord Krishna says, Srimati Radharani, every day I will come and take bath in your Radhakund. And Radharani told Sri Krishna that every day I will come and take bath in your Shyamakund. So there are two ponds next to each other. One is called Radhakund, one is called Shyamakund. And it is described to this date, Radha and Krishna come every day to take their bath there. But they may come in a form of a disguised animal, or in a form of, they may come in any form, in a form of birds, in the form of fishes. They may come in any form, but every day they come there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the area of Brajabhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radhakund. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of Radhakund. Finally, he found a holy spot, and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radhakund was situated there. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotees, headed first by the six Goswamis, such as Rup and Raghunath Das. Presently, there is a large lake known as Radhakund there. Srila Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radhakund because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radhakund and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. The importance of Radhakund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can persons uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and the divine nature of Radhakund. Thus, Radhakund is mainly worshipped by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Radha and Krishna, he made a visit to Vrindavan. As per the written recordings, he went to Vrindavan only once. And he went to Gokul Mahavan first, and then he went to Govardhan, and he made the parikrama of Govardhan, and he was specifically looking for Radhakund, which he could not find. And then he was going, he came to a village. It's called Aritagram, because those who know this particular pastime, where Aristasura, who was one of the demon, he was the second last demon sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna before Krishna went to Mathura. Second last demon who came to Vrindavan was Aristasura. Second last demon was Keshi. The last demon was Vyomasura. So he came even before Aristasura. He was in the form of a bull, a huge bull who was kind of touching the sky when this bull demon would do like this with his horns and hoofs. When he would do like this, the cloud would shatter. It is said that when he was coming on the way, when the ladies would see such a huge demon, they would have miscarriages. He was so fearful. It was actually the evening time when Aristasura came in the form of a bull. And Krishna was with his friends, and the gopis were also there near Govardhan. And when Aristasura came, then Krishna killed the demon. There was, a lot of things happened to and fro. There is a whole detailed pastime of killing of Aristasura. But yeah, finally Aristasura killed the demon, and later on when Sri Krishna was alone with Srimati Radharani and the gopis, then um, Sri Krishna wanted to um, hold the hand of Srimati Radharani and take her around Govardhan. So as soon as he tried to hold the hand of Srimati Radharani said, like she did like this, and she said, "Don't touch me." Then Krishna said, "What happened?" And she said, "You are contaminated." Then Krishna said, "I am contaminated. How am I contaminated?" Then Srimati Radharani said, "Today you have killed the bull." Then Sri Krishna, in joking way, he said, "You foolish girl, I did not kill a bull. I killed a demon. I saved all of your life. He was not a bull, he was a demon." Srimati Radharani said, "So what? He can be a demon or whatever. He was in a form of a bull, and bull represents religion, and you have killed religion. So now onwards, we have nothing to do with you." And Sri Krishna was like stunned, and he was like, "What do I do now? Um, Without any fault, for doing such a nice favor, for fighting with the bull demon, this is how I am treated. What do I do now?" So Srimati Radharani said, "There is only one way out." Shri Krishna, "What is that?" Srimati Radharani, "You have to take bath in all the holy rivers all over the universe." Krishna, "What?" Not just one or two holy river, all the holy river all over the universe. You have to take bath in order to purify yourself from such a heinous sin of killing a bull. Krishna said, "This is too much, but that's all right. I'll do it." So there was a, so what Krishna did is he struck the ground with his heel, with his foot heel, like, and then it created a hole in the ground, like it loosened the mud and created the hole. Then Srimati Radharani, then Sri Krishna said, "I don't have to take bath in all the holy rivers all over the universe. I will invite all the holy rivers all over the universe here." And then in front of Srimati Radharani and all the gopis, the hole that Sri Krishna created began to fill with water, and it became filled with water. And Sri Krishna said, "See, all the holy rivers are present here now." And Radharani and gopis, they started laughing. Like, there is just little pool of water that has come. It's not all the holy rivers. Then Krishna said, "Okay, I'll show it to you." Then Sri Krishna signaled to the water, and one by one, Mother Ganga came. All the personalities came. Mother Ganga came, and she said, "My dear Lord Krishna, please accept our waters. I am Ganga. Please accept my offering." And then she poured into the lake. And then Yamuna Devi came. "My dear Lord Krishna, my name is Yamuna. Please accept my offering." Godavari came. "My dear Lord Krishna, this is Godavari. This is Sindhu. This is Kaveri. This is Prayagraj. This. And all the holy rivers from all over the universe, they came and they offered their water. And then Sri Krishna, he jumped into the kund, he swam across and then came back, and he said, "So now I'm completely pure. Uh, Now you all should take bath also, because you all are also contaminated." And Srimati Radharani said, "What?" First, so Sri Krishna said, "Now let us go inside. Let us all take bath together." Um, And Srimati Radharani said, "We cannot take bath in this kund, because this kund is contaminated because of your touch. Because you were so contaminated by killing a bull, now you have entered into this water. Now all this water is also polluted. Um, so we will create our own kund to take bath." Then Shri Krishna said, "How will you create a pond of yourself?" Srimati Radharani said, "Just see." So next to the kund that Sri Krishna created by inviting all the holy rivers, there was a groove in the soil because of the footstep of Arista. Arista was a huge demon. So wherever he walked, he created grooves in the earth. He was very heavy at touching the clouds. So they took that small grove within the ground, and Srimati Radharani, she took her kangan, her bangle, her kangan, and she started further digging that hole to make it deeper. And all the gopis like Lalita and Vishaka, they joined Srimati Radharani and they started digging the grove and made it deeper. And then um, Shri Krishna said, "So can I give you some water? Because he can call all the holy rivers and they will come." And Srimati Radharani said, "No, we reject your water. We don't want your water. We will bring our own water from Manasi Ganga." So Manasi Ganga is a small lake. Basically, Ganga came from the mind of Lord Krishna, and that's why it's called Manasi Ganga. But it's not the full flowing Ganga which goes to the ocean, it's in the form of a lake. But Ganga wanted to serve Krishna in Vrindavan pastimes. So she came from the mind of Krishna and presented herself as Manasi Ganga. It's huge. There are many pastimes in that holy place. It is right in the middle of Govardhan, and Radha Kund is like in in one corner, and one end is Radha Kund. Manasi Ganga is in the middle. So Srimati Radharani said, "I don't have to do anything with your waters. We will bring our own waters from Manasi Ganga." Shri Krishna was like, "Okay, let's see." So Lalita Devi, who is the leader of all the gopis, she scattered all the gopis. They were like unlimited. So she scattered all the gopis, starting from Manasi Ganga, which is in middle of Govardhan, all the way to Radhakund. And by one, they would take a pot, carry to the next gopi, carry to the next, carry to the next, carry to the next, and bring back the empty pot in the same cycle and carry to the next. So likewise, they started bringing buckets and buckets and buckets of water. And after putting so many buckets of water coming from Manasi Ganga, they all were very exhausted. Um, it was almost midnight. It is actually at the midnight that Shri Radhakund appeared. It was almost the approaching midnight, and they were exhausted. And after bringing so many buckets of water, the water was still little bit because it was a big pond. And just how much can buckets of water do? Just little bit. It's definitely not sufficient to fill the pond and to take bath. Just the feet itself will not submerge. And they knew that it's a Herculean task to fill the whole pond with buckets, using buckets of water from Manasi Ganga. So Sri Krishna noticed that they were exhausted. So Sri Krishna, he signaled all the holy rivers. And Radharani was sitting there and she was also feeling exhausted. So then all the holy rivers appeared in the sky. And they told Srimati Radharani that uh, we have one humble desire. We will be very pleased if you can fulfill our desire. We consider ourselves your maid servant, and our life will become successful if you can allow us to serve you in very humble posture. And they also glorify Srimati Radharani as um, the the life of Sri Krishna and most dear to Sri Krishna. If we can render a little service to your lotus feet, we will consider our life successful. And Radharani was confused, and she looked at all the gopis, Lalit and Vishaka, and she looked at Krishna, and Krishna nodded like this. Means, why don't you accept some service from them? They are very keen to serve you. Srimati Radharani is so glorious that everybody wants to serve her because her love is the supreme. Prabhupada describes who is Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is one who has topmost love for Krishna. And she's so compassionate that she accepts anyone's and everybody's service. And she takes service from everyone and she offers that service to Sri Krishna. She is like the mediator who takes our offering and takes it to Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna actually does not accept our service directly, Prabhupada would say. And he said he would easily accept the service to Srimati Radharani because We don't have love to serve Krishna, and Krishna accepts only love. Bhava Rai Janardana. He just take the bhav. But we don't have the bhav because that's a very advanced stage when we have bhav for Sri Krishna. So how do we grow and get to that stage? So Srimati Radharani has pure love for Krishna, and Sri Krishna is completely bound by love of Srimati Radharani. So whatever Srimati Radharani says, Sri Krishna is bound to accept. So when we offer our service to Srimati Radharani, she offers that service to Sri Krishna, and Krishna is bound to accept. So Prabhupada says that's why we should approach Krishna through Srimati Radharani. We don't approach Krishna directly. That's why we first say Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna, Shri Krishna. We always approach through Hare, Radha, Shri. They all represent Srimati Radharani herself. So Radharani was stunned when she saw that all the holy places are bowing down to her lotus feet in the sky and begging her to please accept our service. And Radharani is very simple hearted. So she was thinking, what should I do? They are all holy rivers. I am a simple gopi, I am a simple coward girl. Uh, and she's very shy also. So she looked at Krishna and Krishna said, yeah, it's okay, accept their service. So Radharani said, okay. And then all the whole, so there was all the water, all the holy rivers all over the universe, they broke open um, the ground that was connecting Shama Kund and Radha Kund. Underneath, there was a wall that distinguished them. Underneath the wall, they created an opening, and all the water gushed into Sri Radha Kund and immediately filled Sri Radha Kund. And Srimati Radharani was very pleased for their service. And then Srimati Radharani and gopis, they jumped into Radha Kund to take bath. And Sri Krishna also jumped into Radha Kund to take bath. And Sri Krishna said, from today onwards, every day I will come to this kund to take my bath. And Srimati Radharani came out and then she jumped into Shama Kund. And then she said, every day I will come to your kund Shama, your kund Krishna to take my bath every day here, which is Shama Kund. So these two, and then from that day onwards, every day Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna would come to Radha Kund and Shama Kund to perform various loving pastimes. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because the position of Sri Radha Kund is so supreme, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually he appeared on this planet over 500 years back. During his time, the Vrindavan had lost its glories. There were not many temples in Vrindavan, and we also discussed in the past that Lord Krishna's grandson Vajranath, he carved many deities. The three principal deities was Radha Govinde, Radha Madan Mohan, and um, Radha Gopinath. Krishna's grandson carved these three deities and they were lost, they disappeared. And most of the holy places lost their glories. So by this time, Radha Kund was just like small puddle of water and Shama Kund was another puddle of water, like small lakes. And the local Vrajvasis would wash their clothes there, thinking, it's just a lake. You go to India and there are many lakes and some washermen, they use those water to wash their clothes because they don't know the glory of these holy places. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to Vrindavan. He wanted to excavate, find all the deities, build all the temples, establish all the lakes, and glorify Vrindavan for all time to come so people can go and become absorbed. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was doing a parikrama of Govardhan, he ran in Aritavan. Aritavan is basically the place where Aristasura was killed. He came to Aritavan, it is on the foothill of Govardhan, and he ran and he jumped into this puddle of water. And nobody takes bath there till that time because they just use it for cloth washing. All the Vrajvasis, all the devotees who were with Lord Chaitanya, they were stunned. And Mahaprabhu raised his hands and he started praying. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha, which basically means just as Srimati Radharani is dear to Krishna, likewise her Kund, Sri Radha Kund is dear to Krishna. The amount of love Sri Krishna has for Srimati Radharani, same amount of love Sri Krishna has for Radha Kund. This place Radha Kund eternally exists in the topmost spiritual world in Golok Vrindavan. And that Radha Kund invisibly connects to this Radha Kund. So this place is non-different from Radha Kund in Golok Vrindavan. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he ordered Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and the other Goswamis who were his disciples, Siksha disciples. He instructed them to excavate the glories of Vrindavan. But he himself found only one place, that is Radha Kund. He himself excavated only Radha Kund. Everything else he told his Siksha disciples, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, you all excavate all the other places. So that itself shows the divine glories of Sri Radha Kund. If you go to Vrindavan, to Govardhan, there is Govardhan Parikrama is divided into two parts. There is Badi Parikrama and there is Choti Parikrama, or big Parikrama and small Parikrama. So Govardhan is like this. It's a one hill. It's in a form of a peacock. It's like this. And then it starts in the middle. There is a road in the middle of Govardhan. So when people go this side, because it's the bigger side of Govardhan, it's called Badi Parikrama, and this is small side of the Govardhan. So this is called Choti Parikrama. So one is like 11 or 12, and one is like 8 or 9, total around 21 kilometers combined together. So in Choti Parikrama, at the corner comes these two lakes, Radhakund and Shyamakund. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from this earthly planet, Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the primary Goswamis, he made his residence at Radhakund. And that time it was still two small puddles, Radhakund and Shyamakund. And every day he would chant 64 rounds on the bank of Radhakund and Shyamkund, deeply absorbed in the mercy of Shri Radha and Krishna. And then he developed a desire. He was thinking that these ponds are so small. I want to excavate them into very nice big ponds so people can come and receive the mercy of Shri Radha Kund. And as he was meditating and chanting and praying, he started thinking, why am I thinking about constructing a pond here? Why don't I absorb myself in sadhana? Why do I have to think about why am I getting these desires? And then he neglected his own desire of making the pond into nice lakes so people can come and receive the mercy of Shri Radha Kund. And then he started absorbing himself in the chanting of the holy names. As Raghunath Das Goswami desired, there was one merchant, one businessman. He was going to Badrinath, and he was carrying huge wealth. He wanted to donate to Badrinath. On his way, he took some rest, this merchant, and Badri Vishal, who is the presiding deity at Badrinath, he came in a dream of this merchant, and he said, go to Vrindavan, go to Radha Kund. There is a very dear devotee of mine. His name is Raghunath Das Goswami. Go to him, offer all your wealth to Raghunath Das Goswami for the excavation of Radha Kund. This is the way you will please me the most. That is the way I will accept your offering and give my choicest blessings to you. The merchant got up, amazed by the vision, changed his direction from Badrinath and started walking towards Vrindavan. After many days, came to Vrindavan, inquired about where is Govardhan, where is Radhakund. Came to Radhakund, inquired about Raghunath Das Goswami, met him and offered all his wealth to Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami had this huge service of excavating these two small puddles of water, Radhakund and Shamkund, into big, wonderful lakes. So, Raghunath Das Goswami, with the help of very dear friend of his, who was a younger Goswami, whose name was Jiva Goswami, they started working on this construction project. Jiva Goswami was very active. Jiva Goswami acquired the whole land and the whole Aritavan, that huge land, and he made the land in the name of Raghunath Das Goswami. Even today, if you go, if you see the deeds, the paperwork, it there is a sign of Raghunath Das Goswami that these lands belong to Raghunath Das Goswami. And they bought it from the local villagers, whoever owned at that point of time. Raghunath Das Goswami bought the whole land. Then they brought some people, some construction people from Delhi nearby to help excavate the lands. They started cutting the trees and expanding the area to make it into a bigger pond. And a lot of things happened during this construction phase. A lot of things happened. I will just say a couple of things that happened. So one time, as they were digging, uh, uh, like in order to expand, two things you have to do. First, you have to cut the trees from the roots and then dig the hole and make a big lake. And then we can add more water to Radhakund water. So as they were cutting the trees, one of the trees started bleeding, and all these workers, they became very afraid. They rushed to Raghunath Das Goswami and they said, we were cutting the trees and this particular tree started bleeding. Then Raghunath Das Goswami said, stop all the work right away. So they stopped. Raghunath Das Goswami started praying to Srimati Radharani. What do we understand? How do we proceed this in your service? And when Raghunath Das Goswami slept, he got a vision where Yudhishthir Maharaj came in his vision. And Yudhishthir Maharaj said, we are 5 Pandavas with Arjun, Bhim, Nakul and Sahadev and myself, and we are doing bhajan on the bank of Shyamakund. Please leave us here. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj disappeared. So Raghunath Das Goswami, in awe and reverence, he went to those 5 trees. They are called Pancha Pandav trees. They are still there. They are still there, but they left the body by now. This is 500 years later. Only Arjuna tree and one more Pancha Pandav tree is visible, but just the trunk is visible, but they have left the trees' bodies. But that time all 5 were doing bhajan. So then he paid obeisances to all the 5 Pandavas and he told construction workers, don't touch them. So if you see the shape of Shamakund, it's not rectangle. It's like wavy. It goes like this because he could not cut those trees. And then they were, after they removed the trees, then they were digging to make a hole, and they were using those tools to dig the ground. And then they noticed they hit a stone, and from the stone also blood started coming. And the mud became reddish. So again, they became very, very scared. Then they rushed to Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami again said, stop all the work right away. And then he again started praying to Srimati Radharani and Govardhan. Please help me understand this mystery. What do I have to take from here? Then Giriraj, Govardhan, he appeared in his vision. And Govardhan told Raghunath Das Goswami that this is my tongue, Raghunath, and you just cut my tongue. And that's why the blood was coming. And Raghunath Das Goswami begged forgiveness. Then Giriraj said, take my tongue out from its underground, that Govardhan Shila, take it out and install it on the bank of Shamakund for worship. And even today, if you go to Radhakund Shamakund, on the bank of Shamakund, there is Govardhan Jiva Mandir. Jiva means the tongue. Govardhan Jiva Mandir. And then Raghunath Das Goswami started excavating the remaining, and there were many things that happened. There is Gopi Kuwa, where the gopis would come and take water, take bath and take water. Raghunath Das Goswami was revealed in his mind that this is Gopi Kuwa, and these construction workers, they were using that water improperly. So Raghunath Das Goswami told all the construction workers, dig a hole and get water from underground. Don't touch this kuwa. Don't touch this well. This is very sacred. And that well is again restored for worship. It's called Gopi Kuwa. There is a place where Radha and Krishna perform swing pastimes that was enacted as it is. So they were, because Radha Kund is a place of divine pastimes of Lord Krishna with Srimati Radharani. And as Raghunath Das Goswami was excavating, all the jewels that were on the banks of Radha Kund was gradually revealed to Raghunath Das Goswami for worship. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you can open the door. I'm in a class. Is it something you can talk over phone when you drive?
We canceled.
Oh, then can I call you once I'm done?
Sure.
Maybe in half an hour? Hare. So, lot of. I'll call you once I'm done with this.
So apparently there's Barbara Greer's giving a class for Tycor on strategic planning. And so I guess that class ends at 1 p.m. We'd be able to meet at 1 p.m.
I'll text you. Okay. So there were a lot of when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he only discovered that this pond is Radhakund. And after that, slowly, by the mercy of Giri Govardhan, Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the various pastime places surrounding Radhakund and Shyamkund were revealed to Raghunath Das Goswami during the excavation process. And there are many things that are on the bank of Radhakund and Shyamkund, like if you know Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, they were written by Raghunath Das Goswami's disciple, whose name was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He wrote this Chaitanya Charitamrita on the bank of Radhakund. His samadhi is there on the bank of Radhakund. Raghunath Das Goswami's samadhi is on the bank of Radhakund. all the Goswamis would come and do bhajan on the bank of Radhakund. So their bhajan kutir is there. Bhajan kuti is where these Goswamis would perform their bhajan. They are there on the banks of Radhakund and Shyamakund. It usually, and there are like so many temples just on the bank of these two lakes, Radhakund and Shyamakund. So once we go there, we should understand that there is no place higher than this. And Rupa Goswami says here, where is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve these two divine lakes, Radhakund and Shyamakund? Okay, so now I think that's something about Radhakund and Shyamakund. If devotees have any question, we can take. Otherwise, we can go to next verse. Any discussion?
Prabhuji, one small question.
Hmm.
So the concept which we are discussing, is it part of NOI? I mean, Nectar of Instruction.
You mean the glories of Radhakund?
Yeah.
Well, Nectar of Instruction describes in detail about the glories of Radhakund and how it is the topmost place. And then some of the stories I shared were from the excavation of Raghunath Das Goswami and few special events on the bank of Radhakund, glorifying how important Srimati Radhakund. But yes, the glories of Radhakund is from the previous verse. If you see here, Prabhu, it says, this is the translation. It says, superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan hill. It is superior to Vrindavan, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes, and above all, the super excellent Sri Radhakund. This is above Govardhan, or more important than Govardhan. More important in Mathura is Vrindavan, more important Vrindavan is Govardhan, and most important among all the holy places on all over the creation, in spiritual and material world, the super excellent Sri Radhakund stands supreme. It is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the love of Gokula Sri Krishna. So this water is actually ambrosial nectarian prema of Sri Krishna. His love is the water of Radhakund and Shyamakund. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radhakund? Is there anybody who is intelligent, who knows the importance of spiritual life, and who is not willing to Radhakund, not willing to serve Radhakund? If there is, then he is not intelligent. So where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radhakund, which is situated on the foot of Govardhan? And then the glories of Radhakund is described in the last verse. This is the culmination of all the instructions of by Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction. Two verses, number 9 and number 11, specifically glorify the topmost Sri Radhakund. Was that your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Shweta Mataji.
Prabhuji, Radha Kund was created by Radharani when Krishna killed Aristasura, and he created Shyama Kund. In Little Krishna, they show that way, like the gopis, like Sri Vishaka, Lalita Vishaka, and Radharani. Everyone would tease Krishna that now you have got so many sins that you have killed a bull right now. So you have to take bath in the holy river. So that was the time Shyama Kund and Radha Kund was created, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
कर्मेभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुः ज्ञानिनस् तेभ्यो ज्ञान विमुक्त भक्ति परमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठस्तथा तेभ्यस्ता पशुपालपङ्कजदशस्ताभ्योऽपि सराधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वद् इयं तदीय सरसि तां नाश्रयेत् काकृति. Okay, the next verse. In the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Gyanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna. Her Kund, which is Radha Kund, lake, is as profoundly dear to Sri Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at the Radha Kund and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhava, render loving service to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the bank of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. Wow. Okay, so we have to read this multiple times and then you all can explain what you understood from this verse. Once again, try to listen, try to hear, try to understand, and then let's discuss once again. In the Shastra, now I will go slow and I will try to explain, and maybe I will try to ask some questions, clarifying questions to see if you all understood. In the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. So there is one kind of people who are called karmis. Karmis think the goal of life is to perform my karma, get some fruit from the karma, which can be wealth, which can be fame, and enjoy those fruits. So they are called fruity workers, means they are working for a fruit, or karma yogis. So it is said in the Shastra that of all type of fruity workers or karma yogis, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. So advanced in knowledge are basically Gyanis. So it basically says that Gyanis who are searching for absolute knowledge, spiritual knowledge about the higher values of life, they are superior to fruity workers. Now, verse number 9 speaks about the gradation of places. The place of Devi, the place of Lord Shiva, place of Vaikuntha, place of Lord Ram, higher than place of Lord Krishna. And in the place of Lord Krishna, there is gradation. Among place of Lord Krishna, Mathura, then Vrindavan, then Govardhan, then Sri Radhakund. Now the devotees, the different kind of living entities, and the gradation of who is the topmost living entity, who is the most advanced living entity, who is most dear to Lord Krishna, which living entity is most dear to Lord Krishna. So gradation, and we see here that there is gradation of people and then come to devotees of Krishna. Among devotees of Lord Krishna, who is the best devotee of Lord Krishna? So these three verses, number 9, number 10, and number 11, all three describes the glories of Radha Kund and the glories of Srimati Radharani. This is Rupa Goswami's final 3 instructions that he wants us to take before finishing our Nectar of Instruction course. So once again, in the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life, Jnani, is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Jnanis, one who is practically liberated by the virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. So Jnanis are the one who feels like, yes, life is temporary. I can get many fruits, but I cannot become happy with my fruits. Um, no matter what all I have in this world, there is misery. There is, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. Independent of how much wealth I have, how much fame I have, I'm not happy here, because happiness is an inner state of consciousness. So one who has that knowledge, one who understands there is a higher self, there is a spiritual world, there is a supreme Lord. Krishna is a supreme Lord. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am here because I have forgotten Krishna, become rebellious of Krishna, wanted to become independent enjoyer from Krishna. I can be happy only in loving service to Krishna. So this is all the transcendental knowledge one is receiving, and then one start rendering devotional service. First is realization, second is practice. Okay, how do I get back to my constitutional position? So start rendering devotional service. Higher than karmis are those who take to the knowledge, and higher than those who take to the knowledge are those who become liberated by, who become advanced in knowledge, and who is practically liberated by, and who basically take to devotional service. Higher than, out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to others. So higher than karmis are the jnanis. Higher than jnanis are the bhakti yogis. He is superior to others. Bhakti yogis stand superior, or one who perform devotional service, to jnanis and karmis. However, one who has actually attained prema is superior to him. So there may be many bhakti yogis, like we are all bhakti yogis, but those who actually attain the goal of bhakti, which is love for Krishna, they are superior than all the bhakti yogis, one who has attained prema. So one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they're totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Above all those devotees who have developed pure prema, love for Krishna, are the gopis, who are the most exalted devotees, the gopis, exalted above all the advanced devotees, because they're totally dependent and completely imbibed with pure love of Krishna. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. So there are, above karmis, there are jnanis, above jnanis, there are bhakti yogis. Above bhakti yogis are those who have attained pure love for Krishna. Among those who have attained pure love of Krishna, above them are the gopis, and above all the gopis is Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna. Most dear means there is nothing, nobody more dear to Krishna than her. Most, the highest degree, most beloved is Srimati Radharani. Now again come to the subject matter of previous verse. Her Kunda, lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. And this most beloved of the gopis, Srimati Radharani. So her Kunda, Radha Kund, is as dear to Sri Krishna as Srimati Radharani. her kund is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved to the gopis. So if you suppose get some mystical power and you can understand the heart of Lord Krishna, and then you will find that the love Lord Krishna has for Srimati Radharani and the love Lord Krishna has for Radha Kund is exactly the same. And there are instances when Shri Krishna wanted to, sometimes Radharani feel sad. उसको बोलते हैं मानिनी राधा और रूठ जाना. So sometimes Shri Krishna himself is unable to pacify Srimati Radharani with his sweet words because she feels sad for various reasons. Then sometimes Shri Krishna goes to Radha Kund and prays to Radha Kund to please help me so I can recover Srimati Radharani to her normal state. She is feeling very sad at this point of time. When Srimati Radharani sees Shri Krishna praying to her Radha Kund, she becomes joyful again. She gives up her rutana, her sadness, and she becomes happy with Shri Krishna again. So the worship and the prayer of Radha Kund is so supreme that Srimati Radharani always notices anybody worshipping Radha Kund. Devotees can, maybe, I can show you here. If you want to worship, you can go to images.google.com and then you can search Radha Kund and all this. Yeah, this is how Radha Kund is. This is the water of Radha Kund. It was actually a small pond um, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath, and now it is like expansive, and just next to it there, that is Shama Kund. So you see this picture here. So this is Radha Kund. It is rectangular shape, and this is Shama Kund. And here, this place is the Panch Pandav trees that Raghunath Das Goswami could not uh, uh, uproot them. So he made the Shama Kund like this. And it is also said that because Lord Krishna stands in a very twisted form, and Srimati Radharani is very simple and straight. So her kund is also very simple and straight like her. And Shri Krishna's kund is also like, Tribhanga form. So that kund is also like that. And there are lot of, so if you see here on the far, it's just ground. And all over Govardhan, the most populated place is Radha Kund. Every nook there are houses and there are temples and places of worship. It's like highly densely populated, this place. Thousands of people living just on the bank of Radha Kund to perform worship, because it is said that so her kund, Radha Kund, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as his most beloved of the gopis, who then will not reside at Radha Kund. And in a spiritual body, surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, render loving service to the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha Govinda. So the idea is, who is there who will not reside at Radha Kund? I mean, we may want to go to Mathura, we may want to go to Vaikuntha, we may want to go to Govardhan, we may want to go to Vrindavan. But after understanding the glories of Sri Radha Kund, who would not like to reside on the bank of Radha Kund? And in a spiritual body, surcharged with ecstatic devotional feeling, render loving service to the divine couple Shri Shri Radha and Govinda. And it is described, we saw in one of the verses earlier in Nectar of Instruction, that the body of a pure devotee is completely spiritual. And by seeing a pure devotee, bodily imperfections, to see the bodily imperfection of pure devotees constitute a Vaishnava Aparadh. And we discuss some detail about Vaishnava Aparadh. So that's why it says, who then will not reside at Radha Kund, and a spiritual body because the body is spiritualized by the purity of devotional service. And in a spiritual body, surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhava means in a stage of bhava bhakti, who will not reside on the bank of Radha Kund, filled with that love, render service, loving service to the divine couple Shishi Radha and Govinda. Who is there who would not do that? Anybody who will understand that Radha Kund is as dear to Shri Krishna as Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani is the most beloved to Shri Krishna, the topmost devotee of Lord Krishna. And only through Srimati Radharani or through Radha Kund and Srimati Radharani can one approach Shri Krishna, who will not render service at that location as Shri Radha Kund. Who, this is referred to Radha Govinda, Radha Krishna, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes, which basically means Radha and Krishna perform their, it says, daily pastimes. Every day, as I discussed in the previous verse, every day Radha and Krishna perform their pastimes on the bank of Radha Kund. So who is that intelligent person who will not reside at Radha Kund and with love serve Shri Radha and Govinda, who are performing their pastimes at that location every single day? Who will not do that? Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. So this is the epitome of this instruction, that the most fortunate people in the universe are those who execute devotional service on the bank of Radha Kund. Okay, so any question on this verse? We will not discuss the purport. We will just discuss the translation. Next verse, which is the last verse, we will see the translation and purport. So this verse is officially covered today also. We will see if there are some questions, then we can take. If no question, then somebody would like to volunteer on what is like different kinds of devotees that are mentioned in this verse. Would somebody like to volunteer?
I can I say, Prabhuji?
Go ahead.
Uh, uh, so this is what I understood, Prabhuji. So the Gnanis are more, I mean, the next level to the Karmis. And the devotional people are greater than the Gnanis. And the Gopis are greater than the devotional people. And Srimati Radharani is greater than Gopis. And Radha Kund and the Srimati Radharani both are equally. Krishna gives equal importance to Srimati Radharani and the Radha Kund. And the people who performs the devotional activity near the Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the world, in the universe.
Amazing. And just one more thing here is Radha and Krishna perform their pastimes every single day on the bank of Radha Kund. So when we are doing our sadhana on the bank of Radha Kund, we are personally with Radha and Krishna at that point of time. They personally reside there in aprakat form, aprakat bhav. Aprakat means unmanifested way. They are present there performing their pastimes. And that's why we see even today, if you go to Radha Kund, thousands of people are sitting on the bank of Radha Kund. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. I have so many stories. No time today to discuss those stories, but one single thing I will say. I stayed on the bank of Radha Kund for maybe 10 days. And then I would see this one man, he would bring his chair from his home He would come and sit on the bank of Radhakund with his Japamala. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Hare. He would do that without eating anything till the night. After sunset, he would take the chair, go back. Again, take his chair and come there in the morning and whole day perform sadhana. We also have a ISKCON temple on the bank of Radhakund. It's called Gopal Mandir. It's a ISKCON temple. And from the temple hall, you will see Radhakund. It's right on the bank of Radhakund. So, and they have residents also. Those devotees who want to stay a couple of days on the bank of Radhakund. We have a ISKCON temple and a residence there. One time I was doing Govardhan Parikrama with a group of devotees. There were some brahmacharis from Chowpatty temple. And one brahmachari, he was actually taking me. I was very new to Govardhan Parikrama that time. This is many years back. So he was showing me around Govardhan. And then we were 2 miles away from Radhakund. And he told me that, Prabhu, we are approaching Radhakund. From now onwards, no material desires. No material desires. Because this is Radhakund, no material desires. And then I was really trying very hard that I should not think of anything other than the only goal of my life is to serve Radha and Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and my spiritual master. And I don't want anything other than this. And he would again and again remind me, Radhakund is coming, no material desires, just that divine service. And he said, don't stay at Radhakund for long. Ainda Prabhu says, don't stay at Radhakund for many days because the place is so pure. And that's why it is said, it is, if you see very specifically, Rupa Goswami says here, who then will not recite at Radhakund and in a spiritual body surcharge with ecstatic devotional service, bhava, render loving service to divine couple Shri Radha and Govinda. Which basically means he's encouraging those who are at that stage of devotion to reside there and perform loving service Radha and Govinda, who have attained the stage of bhava, whose body has become spiritualized, who have attained some sort of prema, deep longing, and have no material desires. They should reside at the bank of Radhakund and perform devotional service. And they are the most fortunate people in the universe that ever exist. And it is said, any meditations, spiritual meditations you have on the bank of Radhakund, eternally you will get that seva. Radhakund is a very, very important place. Radharani hears every single thing you pray on the bank of Radhakund. Okay, so let's see any last discussion, comments before we end.
Krishna Prabhupada.
Shri Shamataji.
So like initially Radhakund and Shyamkund, like when they appeared when Krishna and Radharani was here 5,000 years back, and then like gradually it got Shinken Prabhuji, like when it got excavated by Goswamis, it was very small, right?
Mataji, I could not hear you, your question.
The initially like Radhakund and Shyamkund like were big, and then like when our Goswamis were excavated by that time, the size is small, right? So like they were shrink by that time, like from the time from 5,000 years to.
Yes, so they were actually small ponds when Mahaprabhu excavated. I mean, in beginning 5,000 years back, I don't know how they were, but when Mahaprabhu came, they remained as small ponds. Raghunath Das Goswami enlarged them. Did we answer?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. And then, like once in 25-30 years, they actually clean Radhakund. So what they do, because the water is spiritual, they bring like huge, big water trucks they take all the water of Radha Kund out, and then they clean the whole place. Thousands of people participate, and then they fill the water back, same water back into Radha Kund. So if you see cleaning of Radha Kund, you can go to Google Images and say cleaning of Radha Kund, and you will see well built structure. But in one corner, in the center, there is a muddy place, which is actually called Kangan Kund, because with her, with Radharani, with her own bangles, she excavated, and that's where it was that small kund at that point of time, and later on it was enlarged and made into what it is today. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, we are good to end.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll end here. Thank you very much for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripasindhubhyacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam. Shita.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.